Next team, Anlan.
We're Team Unlearn from SJC Mysore.
I'm Sunaina.
And I'm Vinisha.
A couple of months earlier, I actually visited a convention in Bangalore at the KTPO Convention Center. It was India's largest student convention. And with over 5,000 students, the event itself was amazing. We had India's youngest CEOs talking about how they are implementing their ideas, and it was definitely inspiring. It made an impact. But then again, there was another impact that I could observe when I was having lunch. Lunch was at the venue, and there were bins which were overflowing of used plates and food and stuff. And I was looking for another dustbin, and I couldn't find it. 500 people and 5 dustbins? Nope, that's not how it goes. And also probably water. They provided half-liter water bottles, and it was a hot day. So 5,000 people, half-a-liter water bottles, and just probably, say, 10 dustbins. And I don't think that's enough. Well, I think we need to change how this works, and that is what we're trying to do.
So basically, events in this context is the gathering of people for a purpose. And this always has and always will be a part of human history. In the race to make their events a grand success, organizers conduct their events at any cost, and they often neglect the negative impacts of their events.
Well, considering the current rate of deterioration of the quality of the natural environment and in increase in the event management industry, that's about 800 crores, it's valued at about 800 crores now. I think the need of the hour is to bring a wave of change in how these events are conducted. We need sustainable event management companies. That is why we need the Earth Buff network.
Considering that sustainability revolves around all 3 spheres of the environment, the society, and the economy, how does the Earth Buff network bring in? We try to incorporate these 6 touch points in all of our processes. They are reduction, conservation, optimization, consistency, reimagining, and stewardship.
Our vision is to make sure that the companies, that the good they do is good for business and for the world.
Our mission is to help companies and organizations enforce sustainability in their events, to, right from the project conceptualization to post-event evaluation.
EBN itself starts small from Bangalore, but hopes to reach global standards in the event management industry. But its main aim is to be a leader in sustainable event management. Well, how many of you have wondered how much you contribute to carbon dioxide emissions in the world? Well, it's about 1.8 tons per year per person in India. For 500 people on an average day, that would probably come up to about 2.5 tons. And for those same 500 people attending a single day event with a few relaxable parameters, it will be about 20 tons. Look at the difference between 20 tons and 2.5 tons. I think we need to minimize this number.
On my left, you would find that event managers focus on those aspects while conducting an event. On the right is from the Earth Buff network's point of view, the point of view of sustainability. For example, we look at preventing pollution instead of just trying to clean it up after the event. We also look at optimizing resources and hence reimagining the way an event is held on the whole.
Events are classified into 3 types here. IPs, intellectual properties, for example, IFA awards are conducted and owned by Viscraft. Managed events, they're managed by third-party events, and activations, say you were a car company and you had a new product that had to be marketed in all showrooms all across the country. Well, looking at the charts, managed events have highest revenue and highest growth currently. So that is why EBN will be focusing on them for now?
Through our primary research, after speaking to a few event management companies, we discovered that the corporate sector is the most open to introducing greening initiatives. We've also done some more research, and initially we have decided to define our boundaries by the corporate sector and educational institutes. The impacts of a non-sustainable event are felt in all three spheres: society, economy, and the worst hit is the environment. Just imagine, by opting for a venue far from the city, the number of attendees of that event who opt for private modes of transport and the consequent pollution caused by all these attendees. When you think of the food aspect of an event, especially at weddings, there's so much food that goes to waste. After an event, often the waste that is generated is just left behind at the venue, or it is dumped wherever it is convenient for the organizer.
For example, last Thursday in Bangalore, there was a 4-day Kadlekai Parishe, and Srishti Ventures from Bangalore actually conducted a survey. They found that despite BBMP saying that they would make a huge change in making the event a plastic-free zone, they couldn't. There were over 75,000 plastic covers that were used. That is not just the organizers' fault, but also the attendees themselves. But maybe this could have been changed. So the stakeholders here are as shown here, but the environment is the worst hit. It's also because the attendees, without a sense of environmental stewardship, or the organizers with no sustainability regulations in event management, they have the most distinct impact on the environment. This is what we are trying to address. Our social aim in a few line would be to be an environmentally conscious entrepreneurship model that is aimed at sustainable event management. Okay, let's look at the services that we are going to provide. At EBN, we have a three-phase event cycle: planning, implementation, and control and monitoring. That phase over there, impact area assessment, is a pre-planning phase. When a company or when a client approaches us with an event proposal, what we're going to do is understand the event and identify key high-impact target areas. For example, transport would be one, because of the amount of pollution that goes into it, and food. Food is everywhere, and there's a lot of wastage of food. So that would be the identification that we would do.
In our initial phase, which is the planning phase, we look at, like she said, the high impact areas, and we try and customize solutions for each event. However, we do have a framework. We have a general checklist, and this is provided for events in general. For example, if you look at venue choice, venue accessible enough? How accessible is the venue? Are attendees open to carpooling? And can you as an event manager coordinate such an operation? If you look at the catering aspect, can you allow attendees to sample the food? If you are thinking of serving them the food, can you allow them to sample the food so that they can decide how much they want from it? Also, when it comes to waste disposal, is there facility for separating and processing the waste at the site, or which is the nearest site you can identify that this can be done?
Let's look at the implementation part of the planning phase. It is as important as the planning phase. Basically, all the EBN team members, the attendees of the event, and also the service providers and subcontractors who provide their services to us will be important, because it is only when all of them contribute to the sustainability progress that can we actually make a difference. So to promote behavioral changes, we hope to organize competitions or perhaps training programs to make them aware that this is what they have to follow instead of what they were already doing in the previous management. Now that we've conducted an event, it's important to quantify and report whatever we've done. For this, we have included this phase. The information is gathered from the staff, from the attendees, and from the subcontractors as well, before, during, and after the event. Well, for larger events, we would prefer to have an independent report, which would probably adhere to international standards like the global reporting initiatives.
Also, for monitoring and evaluation, we'll be using carbon calculators as a primary parameter. And international standards include APEX, ASTM, Environmentally Sustainable Meeting Standards, and also the ISO 20121:2012, which comes with their own specifications for improved levels of sustainability. Our implementation strategy, it starts out with our database creation, where we form a network of and suppliers who would cater to our requirements and would support our sustainability practices. Next, we do our market creation. We all know that companies and organizations give away corporate gifts during major festivals like Diwali, New Year's, Eid, etc. So EBN has a unique proposition of starting out with eco-friendly corporate gifts. Just imagine the impact it would make.
We hope to start small in terms of the number of attendees or in terms of the budget involved. So we'll be catering to only small events, and the probable phase after that would obviously be the conducting of larger scale events. We have another unique system where we'd like to develop a toolkit. So this toolkit is a means of revenue generation. We'd probably, like the monitoring and evaluation carbon dioxide emission calculators that we spoke about, we'd probably develop those to be event specific, since they don't already exist, and market those.
Our business plan timeline moves from 6 months prior to startup to 1 year in. We start with our database creation, which continues throughout as we're looking to expand our network. We also start our pilot events, which are small scale events. Next, we build our task force by networking with NGOs, schools, and colleges to gather passionate volunteers.
We'd start 2 months before we'd probably open. We have a policy. We'll start developing our policy manual and doing the online media marketing through website creations. And at this point, we would start our corporate gifts phase. And once we have started, I think the most important thing to do would be to market it. Local mass media and promotional campaigns. Since we're targeting the educational sector, probably in other educational institutions.
9 months in, we hope to introduce our toolkits in the market. And 1 year in, we have a very crucial assessment to measure our impacts in terms of accounts, feedback, and marketing to ensure the sustainability of EBN itself as a business model.
This is a very hazy, these are all very hazy numbers, since we don't exactly come from a financial background that requires all of this, but we hope that this is what it would cost, say, the marketing and the registration fees, the support for building the toolkit. So this would, for about a year in, we think this number would come around to about 2 lakhs, less than 2 lakhs for the first year. And we kind of charted out the kind of taxes that we think would be applicable to us as event managers. Direct taxes would be from the revenues, the commissions we make, and the sponsorship fees in case we are bringing sponsorship. And indirect taxes would be VAT and entertainment taxes.
We hope to receive revenue primarily from our commissions and secondarily from our products, that is our corporate gifts and our toolkit. This timeline corresponds to the business plan timeline. Again, these are probable estimates, and we do not hope to
make any money from the pilot events, but as we go on, we hope to start charging commission and making money.
Our organizational structure, obviously the primary employees will be the founders themselves, who will take care of the implementation of the entire event. Later on, we seek to expand. Our marketing strategy, it goes hand in hand with our implementation, where we use our corporate gifts to establish ourselves in the sector, corporate sector.
We hope to form partnerships with SMEs and SHGs. This would this would be a good point for us to sell ourselves to the corporate companies, as it would be a image booster for them.
Our feedback loop is a continuous closed cycle loop. We hope to gather feedback from the EBN team itself, our vendors, and our clients. Working on both feedback, negative and positive, we will also learn from our positive feedback to make sure that we innovate our practices to make them more sustainable and continuously evolve. So why would anyone choose EBN? Well, obviously, we customize and gives turnkey solutions. We are obviously lighter on the environment and we give positive publicity to clients. Any association with the EarthBuff network would mean the client would be associated with our 6 touch points.
This is the EBN putting the environment on the guest list.
We also have a 1-minute video on how we would make
have the
our
time?
marketing pitch.
Just one question. So you have kind of a list of different ways that events as usual are unsustainable. Which of those lists or which of those aspects of the events can be done at lower cost in an environmentally sustainable way, and which ones are going to be higher cost? And do you have any sense of the cost differential between the sustainable way and the not sustainable way, and how you would, I guess, reduce the cost differential when things cost more?
For example, we also seek to support the local economy. So when you're saying sustainability in terms of food, we would encourage utilizing local food suppliers. So you reduce delivery miles, you also reduce carbon emissions.
Also in the corporate gifts phase, by using sourcing it from SAGs would actually help in reducing costs than getting probably brands of gifts from other places. Also the thing is, we do not promise financial benefits at small scale events because the budget is already low. Say for larger scale events, the actual aim is to avoid lifestyle cost. So at a small scale event, we cannot hope to make a huge difference, because as we start using green products for larger events, since we'll be procuring them at a mass, there'll be a mass consumption, the numbers may decrease.
Management, a lot of it just comes down to just the logistics. If you're going to focus the company on a couple of key things that you do differently as an event management company, what would be, in your mind, the highest impact things you could do differently at your events if you had to focus on that in the early days?
First thing would definitely be the fact that, say, when I spoke to you about an event at KTPO, that's why in Whitefield. So even if you're sourcing it from Bangalore itself, it would be quite a large distance. So what I would do is make sure all the events, say on day -1 day, these are the raw materials that I need. I would ask him to probably come to all of them to meet at Majestic, take the charge, and then from Majestic get all of those goods by my own transport to my location. So that was one thing that we thought of would probably make
Also, it could be the simple things that, like the amount of paper that's being used at every event. If that was recycled paper being used, you're reducing your environmental impact and you're hopefully changing the sustainability practices followed by the attendees.
Print on a piece of recycled paper versus a print of, I guess, a piece of regular paper. What's the cost differential?
Printing won't matter. It's the cost of.
Or what's the cost of the paper, I guess? What's the
Ma'am, it's
differential?
about, it depends. The thing is, again, there are various kinds of recycled paper. So there are recycled paper that's cheaper than regular paper. But the thing, it again depends on me. If the client who has a higher budget he's okay on spending a little more on a better quality of recycled paper, then yes, we would go ahead. Suppose he's like, no, I'm okay with using a lower grade quality of paper, then I would probably use that.
I think again it goes back to generating real demand. See, there's a good demand for greenwashing. That you could do. But to generate real demand, because the cost of this is socialized, right? So the people who plan the event don't bear the social and environmental cost of the event. So to convince them that I need to, actually I'm not so convinced that it's going to cost them less. It's probably going to cost them much more financially to do things differently.
Oh,
So again, to Jessica's point, are there 2 or 3 key offerings that you could offer to other event managers to begin with, to say food, most of us have eaten ghastly long tables of food, all of it is unpalatable and high waste. Nobody would mind if it was reduced by 2-5 dishes which are tasty and local, right? So 1 or 2 things like that which have high impact, like she was also asking.
you did mention that, right? The food.
The food,
We
For
actually
example,
mentioned
food, you
that.
would know better, but rather than making this big offering to
ma'am,
begin
I
with.
actually didn't understand the.
So I think, I'm not convinced financially that it's going, but Sanjay can pitch in too, that it's going to cost less to be more eco-friendly in an event.
Ma'am, the basic reason why anybody would conduct an event is promotion. It's basically promotion or gathering, as she said. But that promotion, when we give a brand value to it, when there's that green tag, green is in and green is cool right now. So we are tapping that.
We're looking at value addition
But you
also here.
In that case, you're really speaking like true greenwashers. Because green is in is pretty much the worst reason to go green. Actually, her question can be restated another way. Instead of selling to a customer, which you are of course welcome to try as entrepreneurs, would you be able to sell the same service to a competitor?
Sir,
That's really the trick.
That was the phase, but then we won't be doing it initially because they'll probably steal our idea and not use our services.
So we want to test our waters and establish ourselves, like give a sort of niche to ourselves. And
That
with
has
our
been
backgrounds,
identified that's why we came up with the toolkit building phase, sir.
yeah, and given our team's backgrounds, we actually certified to do this sort of thing,
Okay.
measuring
Could you
environmental impacts.
Could you at least ask some of your competitors? There are lots of small event management companies. Definitely in Delhi, I presume also in Bangalore, lots of them. Could you ask them what is it that prompts them to be non-green? This is a very important research that you need to carry out. They're not,
Because
as human
they're-
beings, they're not intent in wasting things. Nobody likes to waste. But
Can I answer that? Because one of the main reasons is they are not legally bound to do so. They're not legally bound to check the pollution levels of their event, to see how much waste they've generated.
Just make a positive impact. They're going to do it at any cost. They're not thinking about it.
We don't have pollution control board regulations for an event being
So,
conducted.
for example, on. Ma'am?
And yes.
So we'll be targeting only high impact areas. And also, sir, to answer your question, especially corporate offices and companies, on the 5th of June, that's the World Environment Day, they have a big gala and they plant trees. Probably what they don't realize is that while they're planting trees and conducting that big gala, they can probably kind of cancelling it out, all the negative things they do. So we're trying to address that issue.
equally well served if you were to set up a method of measuring the impact of an event and making it available to a company which could then
That is
plaster
what
it
we are trying to do with our toolkit. Our toolkit, the third phase in our implementation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.